AROOJSHAH had IRISHIMY on her arm throughout her election campaign. He was out knocking on doors, canvassing for votes. There were record numbers of postal votes in St Mary's Ward. My information is that at least 500 of those votes were fraudulent, harvested and traded between candidates. Greater Manchester Police should investigate, but we now know they won't investigate because Greater Manchester Police are neck deep with these criminals. It's the same reason they won't investigate the firebombing of this car after the video footage came out, because it meant that they could not incriminate me and imprison me falsely for that crime. And this is why the government needs to step in, because Greater Manchester Police are corrupt. AROOJSHAH is very clear on the Friday the 12th of May in that interview, and at the, it would have been at the 10th, maybe. It would have been the week, wouldn't it? It'd have been from the 8th or something. It'd have been from the 8th of May. Dates are important. I'm going through, you know how I am. Dates, facts, data, sequence of events, always important.
You've had a lot of criticism online, partly aimed at some of your associations with people, some of them convicted criminals from the past, one man in particular who was a getaway driver for the police murderer, Dale Cregan. Are you still associated with these people, and can you see why, in the eyes of some, that damages your reputation?
Of course it does, Kevin. I get that completely, and I get people's concerns. But like I've always said, I want to be judged by my own actions and my own conduct. I'm not responsible for the people, but at the same time, rehabilitation is the law of this land.
Rehabilitation is the law of this land. At the same time, rehabilitation is the law of this land. Here is AROOJSHAH suggesting that a gangster childhood friend, IRISHIMY, who by the way was convicted on the 5th of May for crimes against me, is rehabilitated. Rehabilitation is the law of this land. And she said this was put out on the 12th of May, Friday the 12th of May. Yes, earlier this week. One of my sources contacted me. I then reached out into the community and had the evidence, the information triangulated, like I do. Now I ask you this. Why did Greater Manchester Police not issue a press release? They issue a press release at all other times. Why did Charlotte Green, the local democracy reporter, the Oldham Times, the Manchester Evening News not report on this? They reported on me and fabricated an allegation that I'd been arrested as a child sex investigation, as part of a child sex exploitation investigation. Lied. Charlotte Green and her team didn't report on it. The police didn't issue a statement. Normally you'll see, on Twitter or Facebook, GMP confirmed they've made an arrest here, there, somewhere else. Of course, the malicious blogger isn't going to say anything and damage his payroll. The 7th of May was Saturday night, Sunday, About 1:30 a.m. on Saturday night, there was a call to Greater Manchester Police, an emergency call, 999 emergency call to Greater Manchester Police. My information is, without the CCTV footage, Greater Manchester Police, I think, would have preferred for this to go away because they're corrupt. They're in bed with AROOJSHAH and her Labour Party mates. The reports were of a man with a machete going after one of his neighbours. The police turned up, arrested the man, went into his house and recovered the bladed item that people on that street have confirmed to me was a machete. The police entered the house, arrested a man, and came out with the bladed weapon. So this man had tried to attack someone else, or attack property, whatever, I'm not sure, and I'll go with the facts that I've got. I'll go with the facts. Mohammed Imran Ali, date of birth 4th of the 9th, 1980, was charged for criminal damage and possession of an offensive weapon. He is due to appear in court on the 9th of November. That's the 7th of May this took place. The 7th of May. Here we have AROOJSHAH. If that took place on the 7th of May, in a BBC interview talking about rehabilitation, here she is with him on the 12th of May. This man is facing, and of course, innocent before, proven guilty and all of that applies. And here is the leader of the council with him. Here is the leader of the council celebrating with him. Here is the leader of the council sat with him. Here is the leader of the council out at a children's event where this man had previously, the week earlier, been charged by the police. And here is the leader of the council giving an interview to the BBC, and the BBC would have known. Kevin Fitzpatrick, once again, is neck deep in the cover-up of criminality in Oldham. Remember, he's the BBC reporter that was involved in covering this up because of his relations, covering up the grooming gangs, the shisha bars, because of his relationship with Jim McMahon and his friendship. AROOJSHAH's position as leader of Oldham Council is now untenable. AROOJSHAH's position as leader of Oldham Council is now untenable. Her childhood friend, her rehabilitated humanitarian childhood friend, has been charged by Greater Manchester Police and is due to appear in court on the 9th of November. And despite him being charged with criminal damage and possession of an offensive weapon believed to be a machete, and she's going on about rehabilitation. Are you telling me she didn't know what had happened on the Saturday night? Are you telling me she didn't know what happened on the Saturday night? Are you telling me Jim McMahon didn't know what happened on the Saturday night? Are you telling me Stephen Bashforth didn't know? Ross Birch? Elaine Taylor? Are you telling me Abdul Jabbar didn't know? Fida Hussein didn't know? Just what do you think was said when he went knocking on doors wanting votes? If I lived in Glodick and he'd come knocking on my door, I'd just hand him over my postal vote and said, I'll get you 10 more from my mates. A machete on the Saturday night. Why is this not in the Oldham Times? Why did Chief Constable Ian Watson and his Oldham Chief Superintendent Chris Bowen not issue a statement? Why is this been hidden from you? This is why this town needs a public inquiry, because the police are the criminals. They are complicit in the cover-up. They are partners in it. What do you think someone is going to do with a machete, Julie? If you're a dangerous criminal who's got form for assaulting and beating up people, what do you think you're going to be doing with a machete? And why is he on bail out back in this town? Going to parties with politicians. Shahid Mushtaq. Councillor Shahid Mushtaq shares a platform with him. The deputy leader. Where a week earlier he's been charged. AROOJSHAH's position is now untenable. She has to resign, and if she does not resign, we will take Ross Birch out. We'll take Steve Bashforth out. We'll take Elaine Taylor out. We'll take every one of you white Labour Party councillors out on the back of your support of not just the Pakistani rape gangs, but this level of criminality. We will take every one of you out, because I know in the white communities, the block postal vote does not hold sway, and we can mobilise and we can win elections. In Failsworth, we'll take that friar out. Josh Charters, you're going in St. James. There will be a vote of no confidence against AROOJSHAH and her council at the first council meeting, and every Labour Party councillor who supports her is supporting this. Gangsters running the town. With bent police officers. Complicit. Yes, Lynn, the opposition should be up in arms demanding her resignation. And I'll read this again to you. I got this from trusted sources. Cross-reference. 7th of May 2023, it was about 1:30. He attacked one of his neighbours. Criminal damage, possession of an offensive weapon. He was charged and is due for his whatever hearing on the 9th of November. Maybe we should all go on the 9th of November. Maybe we should all go on the 9th of November. Because the Oldham Times won't be there. Charlotte Green won't be there. The Manchester Evening News won't be there. Criminals run this town. This is what happens when you don't conform. This is what happens when you stand up to them. Pam Byrne. What have you got to say, Pam Byrne? AROOJSHAH is finished. Her position is untenable. She has openly had IRISHIMY campaigning alongside her. She has refused to distance herself from this man despite his past on the basis that he's rehabilitated. She's kept hidden his repeated convictions against me. Now you can say, okay, those are low-level convictions. Maybe to you they are, to me they're not. But being charged for criminal damage and possession of an offensive weapon is not a low-level crime. AROOJSHAH's position as leader of Oldham Council is now untenable. Come on, Bashforth. What have you got to say? Or do you need to phone Jim up? How about you, Debbie Abrahams? What do you have to say, Debbie? The deputy leader of the Labour Party, Angela Rayner, the will be, if Labour win an election, Deputy Prime Minister, has links to this woman. How can the Labour Party continue this? When is enough enough? Now, let it play out in court. I hope it plays out in court because I know what I fear will happen. I fear whoever this poor victim is will be intimidated by a malicious blogger and a whole host of glodic gangsters to drop charges. All of that will play out in the background. That's my experience, the other way around. The CCTV footage. The CCTV footage. Why is the Oldham Times not reporting this? Why is it not in the Manchester Evening News? Why has Chief Superintendent Chris Bowen and his Oldham police officers not issued a statement? Who runs the town? Who runs this town? She would have known, and she's misleading the town by talking about her criminal associates and the power of rehabilitation. Please go out there and share the news. IRISHIMY has been charged with criminal damage and possession of an offensive weapon on the 7th of May 2023, and despite him being charged, AROOJSHAH went to the BBC and talked about her friends being rehabilitated and partied with him. Partied with a man charged for wielding a machete.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.